This conference will now be recorded.
Nobody came to classroom today. Okay, fine. So how many of you have written macros? 4 or 5 sample codes. How many of you have written? How many of you have written macros, standard macro programs? You guys have written these macro programs, yes or no? You guys have written these macro programs, yes or no?
Yes,
Anyone
sir.
tried? Any difficulties? Anyone while writing has got some issues, errors, any such? Let me know. Everyone tried? Everyone tried, yes or no? Macros are very easy if you understand. If you don't understand, it is very difficult. Okay. Naveen, you have written macros. Naveen, you have written this macros, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I can go to next topic, right? Everyone has practiced. I can go to next topic, right? I can go to next topic, right? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So yes or no మీరు చెప్తే I can understand because you said yes, I'm going forward. రేపు అది అర్థం కాలేదు ఇది అర్థం కాలేదంటే ఊరుకొని చెప్తున్నా. Okay, right. So now you can see here how to store macros. If you wanted to store macros in SAS, you have to use some options. Those options are mstored, SAS mstore. Okay, so normally whenever we are creating a macro in general, it will store in work library. It will store in the macros catalog. It will store that macro. If you wanted to store a macro in a specific library, if you wanted to save your macro permanently in SAS, then what we do is we use options mstored SAS mstore. Okay, so now you see here, I will run the program. So here I don't have a library Raj, I have a library Kirti. Okay, I have a library Kirti. So in this library, right now I have only dataset DS. So in this macro library, it will store a macros catalog. Okay, it will store a macros catalog. In that macros catalog, it will store this macro called print. Okay, so if you see here, same normal program as it is normally how you do. So additionally, you have to write this store option, and I have to use this options mstored SAS mstore. So if you run the program here, you see it is creating a macros catalog. Here it is creating a macro called print. Okay, right. So this is how we can store macros permanently in SAS. So even though if you come tomorrow also, no problem, you can use this macro and we can print the data set. So if you wanted to use this macro and if you wanted to you print a data set, so again you have to use options mstore SAS mstore, and you have to use SAS auto s is equal to. Okay, so you have to use one more option, SAS auto s is equal to. Okay, right. So SAS auto s is equal to, again you have to write library. So normally if you write percentage print, normally if you write percentage print data set name, SAS what it will do by default, it will check in, by default it will check in work library. But this macro is stored in a specific library, right? So to tell that information to SAS, we write SAS auto s is equal to your library name Kirti. So SAS will go to this library, it will execute your print macro, and here with this data set it will execute your print macro. If you run the program here, you can see it will execute your print macro. You can see the print SAS help.cars. Is that clear to everyone, yes or no? Is that clear to everyone, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Everybody is clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. Next, nested macros. If you wanted to use a macro within a macro, we call it as nested macros. If you are calling a macro within a macro, we call it as nested macros. So if you see here, right now I'm not using options mstored sas mstore is equal to and slash store, we are not writing it. So if you run the program, by default it will store in work library. You see, right? Dataset ds work sas macros, you got print catalog. So I already have a macro. If you are calling a macro inside a macro, we call it as nested macros. So the purpose of writing this macro is to sort your data set. I wanted to sort a data set and I wanted to print a sorted data set. I wanted to sort a data set. I wanted to print this sorted data set. Percentage macro sprint. Sprint is nothing but sorted information we are printing. So percentage macro sprint inside bracket you write dname1, comma dname2, comma var. Dname1, comma dname2, comma var. Proc sort data equal to ampersand dname1 out equal to ampersand dname2 by var run. So actually normally what we have to do, here we have to write proc print data equal to ampersand dname to run, correct? So whatever the functionality I'm about to write here, this functionality I already have a macro. In this case, no need to write full code. You can use this, you can run this macro here. You can call this macro from this here. So percentage print ampersand dname2. Okay, so percentage print ampersand dname2. Right. So here you can see s print sas help dot class comma ds comma sex. So here sas help is my input data set and I'm sorting my data with respect to variable sex. This sorted information I'm storing in dname2, nothing but macro variable dname2. Dname2 is nothing but ds. Okay, so finally you are printing this data set dname2. Dname2 is nothing but ds. So if you run the program, it will sort all your data with respect to male, female, and you can see the final output. So it will show alphabetical order, right? So F first and M next. Is that clear to everyone? Yes or no? Is that clear to everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
This is a nested macros. Macro debugging options. These are very much important. I want everyone to focus. Macro debugging options. So first one, what is debugging? Debugging is nothing but checking errors and eliminating errors from your program. Debugging is nothing but checking errors and eliminating errors from your program. Macro debugging, checking errors in your macro program and eliminating the errors. How can we make a bug-free macro program? So this is a modular approach we already have covered, correct? This approach we already have covered, right? Right. So first of all, write a normal base SAS program, add percentage macro, percentage min, in between write your macro statements, run. Correct. Fine. So this already we have seen. Macro debugging options, these are very much important. No M error, M error. No S error, S error. No M print, M print. No M logic, M logic. No symbol gen, symbol gen. So these are all your macro debugging options. Why everybody is worried about macros is whenever we are running a macro, your macro will not show error clearly. For all types of errors, it will throw one common statement that statement is not valid or out of proper order. Statement is not valid or out of proper order. That is the common standard error message your macro gives. For all types of errors, if you're giving the same message, how we will understand here? So we cannot exactly identify what is the issue is. To overcome this, we have some options now. To identify using these options, you can clearly identify where the issue is. Right. First one, options M error. So whenever we are using this options M error, what happens is, if you are trying to invoke a macro that does not exist, if you are trying to invoke a macro that does not exist, what happens? What happens? It will throw an error. Okay, so you see, right? So suppose to say here, I'm creating a macro called ds11, but I'm calling a macro called ds1. Correct. So here you are creating a macro ds11 but trying to invoke a macro ds1. Okay, so not ds1, mac11. Here it is mac1. So here you can also write ds11, ds1 also, that is your choice. So here we are writing macro 11, mac1. So if you run the program, you see whenever you are using these options, it will show statement is not valid or out of proper order. Is right? Apparent invocation of macro mac1 not resolved. So it says that boss, I cannot resolve the macro mac1. So immediately programmer what he will do, he will try to go and see what is the issue in macro mac1. So whenever he goes to the program, he will understand, array here I have given macro mac11, but I'm trying to call mac1. So the reason it is showing an error. So programmer can easily identify issue with the help of this warning. Suppose to say if you write no M error, so by default no M error option will be active. So if you run the program here, you can check your log window. So what is the error message it says? What is the error message it says? Statement is not valid or it is out of proper order. This is a common error which your SAS will throw. This is a common error which SAS will throw. Okay, right. Apparent invocation of macro mac1 not resolved. That is a warning it says. If you use no M error, so you see, right? It will not show anything. You cannot understand anything from this. Okay. Now I corrected my macro mac11. Suppose to say here I created a macro called D1. Here I have created a macro called D2 and this is a condition. So in your input you have given name as D2 but in set statement you have written DS2. So in this case it is an issue. Agree, yes or no? If you wanted to find issues related to your macro variables, then we have to use a option called S error. We have to use an option called S error. So whenever we run the program, you see, right? What is the warning? It says apparent symbolic reference DS2 not resolved. Apparent symbolic reference DS2 not resolved. So what happened to my DS2 variable? I can go and check. So this is my DS2, this is my D2. So here it will be easy for the programmer to easily locate. Suppose to say if you use no S error, so it will not display your error. If you run the program, so you see, right, this is a standard statement which your SAS is giving, right? With this, can you understand what is the issue in? What is the error? What needs to be done to fix this issue? అర్థమవుతుందా? Can you understand what is the error in this program now? What is the issue now? What is the issue now? You got the concept, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
You got the concept, yes or no? Right?
Yes, sir.
So here, this is the issue. So you cannot identify issue if you are using no M error. Right. Suppose to say I have written DS2 in place of macros, I have written correctly. I checked my macro names are correct. I checked my macro variables are correct. Now, whenever you have multiple macro variables, I should understand which variable, what value it is reading, right? Whenever you have some 10 to 15 macro variables, in this case, I should understand which variable, what is the input we are giving, right? So if you wanted to see that information, we can use an option called mlogic. If you run the program here, you can see mlogic. Mlogic, what it is doing? Mlogic, what it is doing? It will clearly give us which variable, what value it is taking. You see that parameter D1 is taking the value DS2. Parameter D2, it is taking the value Sas self.class. Condition is taking the value age greater than or equal to 14. You can see, right, it is clear to everyone, yes or no? You can see, right, it is clear to everyone, yes or no? Yes, please. Right. So this is how I can see which variable, what value it is taking. And in our day one session, we all know, right? So your macro processor will analyze. Your macro processor will analyze your macro variables and it will convert into a base SAS program. Correct. So here mlogic, sorry, I did not cover no mlogic. No mlogic means it will not show any stuff. Straight away it will execute. That's it. Okay, no mlogic. So next one, if you wanted to see standard SAS program which your SAS is giving, I have to use an option called mprint. Whenever we are using this option mprint, you see, right, SAS, it will convert your macro program to a normal data step. You see, right, age greater than or equal to 14, where sex is equal to female. You can see it, right? Is it clear to everyone, yes or no? So whenever we are using the option mprint, it will convert your macro variables into a standard base SAS program. Okay, right. So if you don't want SAS to display this, you have to use no mprint. No mprint means it will not display all this information. Right. Next, symbol gen. If you wanted to see, so you see, right, previously mlogic, what it has shown parameter D1 is taking the value DS1. Parameter D2 is taking the value sashelp.class. Correct. So it is showing these values, right? It is showing these values, right? So now if you see here, if you wanted to see whether this value is correctly sitting in this variable yes or no, whether this macro variable is resolving this value yes or no, I have to use symbol gen. Your symbol gen is advanced than mlogic. Your symbol gen is more advanced than mlogic. So if you see here, data set DS6, you see, right? So you see, right, where age greater than or equal to 14. So macro variable D2 is resolving SAS self.class. Macro variable condition is resolving age greater than or equal to 14. So it will show whether this value is resolving yes or no. That is what the point to be noted. Okay, suppose to say, right, 14T. So you see, right? So macro variable resolving to 14 So here it is showing an error. Okay, so here it is showing an error, syntax error while parsing where class. Okay, right. So it will clearly show the error if you need. So is this clear to everyone, yes or no? Symbol gen will clearly identify which variable what value is the input we are giving to that, and it is resolving yes or no. That is what it will show. No symbol gen means it will not show this information. No symbol gen means it will not show this information. So you guys are clear with all these 10 data statement options, yes or no? No M error, no S error, no M logic, no print, no M print, no symbol gen. You can see, right, these are all the programs that are for your understanding purpose. These are all the programs which I have executed now. Next, macro functions. Macro functions. So percentage sys function, what it will do is it will execute Sas functions or user written functions. It will execute Sas functions or user written functions. So if we are using any base Sas function in macros, so that should call percentage sys function. I already told you yesterday itself. So if you are evaluating a base Sas value into a macro variable, we have to use percentage sys function. And you see, right, percentage sys function of today sub-str, this already we have seen in int nx yesterday. So here in macros we have a concept called exist function. Exist function, what it will do is it will check whether the particular data set exists yes or no, whether the particular data set is present yes or no. That is what exist function will do. So anyone can anyone tell what is the functionality of this program? What is the functionality of this program? Remove that percentage and see normally.
If then do.
What it will do? If this data set exists, then do what it is doing? Printing it. Else means if it is not exist, percentage put the data set does not exist. What are the data set name we give in DSN? So that data set does not exist. That is what it will write the information to log window. Right now in my work library, I have a dataset DS. So it will print the dataset DS. This is the dataset DS. Suppose to say in my work library, I don't have a dataset DS3. If I ask SAS to print this, what it says does not exist. The dataset work.ds3 does not exist. If it has, it prints the information. If it does not exist, you have to write information to log window. Clear to everyone, yes or no? Exist function is clear to everyone, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Percentage eval, if you wanted to evaluate integer values, then we can use percentage eval. So if you see here, a plus a is percentage a is equal to 1 plus 2. 1 plus 2 means what value you get? 1 plus 2 is 3. If you wanted to evaluate basis value, see, right, percentage let a eval underscore a is equal to eval of ampersand a. Ampersand a means nothing but 1 plus 2. Percentage eval of 1 plus 2, it is 3. 10 into 3, 30. 5 divided by 3, 1 point change. So if you run the program, you can see log window 331, you can see, right? Clear to everyone, yes or no? If you have a floating values nothing but decimal values. So in that case, you have to use a function called sysevalf. Okay, in that case, we have to use a function called sysevalf. So now you can see I am taking the value 100 in variable A, 1.597 in variable B. So let y is equal to sysevalf of ampersand A plus ampersand B. Your macro variable y is storing the value 101.597. It is storing the value 101.597. For that, if you apply a ceil function, what value we get? 101.5, so it will give 102. If you apply a floor function, what value you get? 101.5, if you apply floor function, what value we get? We get 101. And for int what also you'll get 101. So if you run the program here, you can see log window, it is 102, 101, 101. And 101.597 is your value. So is this clear to everyone, yes or no? Sys evalf.
Yes, sir.
Simget, if you wanted to get a macro variable value into a normal variable value, base as variable value, we can use simget. Percentage let a is equal to s. Your variable a is created as a macro variable. So if you wanted to get this macro variable into a normal data step, you can do that. So b is equal to simget of a. So b will take the value s. Is that clear everyone, yes or no? Next, percentage length. Percentage let a is equal to Vishnu, b is equal to Reddy. So both together if you combine, what is the length? Both together if you combine, how it will work? Percentage let a, how much it is? 5. B, how much it is? 5. VISHNU, it is 6. Here it is 5. Both together, if you write side by side and if you check length, 6 plus 5, how much it will be? 11. So is right? 11. 6, 5. Okay, is that clear? If you wanted to get a length for a normal variable, you use length of. So if you wanted to get it for a macro variable, we use percentage length. Scan, Q scan. So whenever you wanted to scan a word, particular word, we can use a scan function. So whenever we are using scan function in macros, so if you see here, right now, I have macro A, macro B, macro C. All these macros I have written at one place. I combined it and stored in one variable X. X is equal to percent %A star, percent %B star, percent %C. Okay, right. So you can see here ampersand X. You see, right? X is storing the value percent %A star, percent %B star, percent %C. So star is a separator between these values. If you want second word, third word, you say, right, percentage scan of ampersand X comma 3 comma star. Star is acting as a separator, so I have to write star here. So percentage scan of ampersand X comma 3 comma star. So if you run the program, what happens? Log window, you see, right? C, 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 C. It is executing that macro percentage C and it is populating C, 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 C. So if you don't want SAS to execute this macro, you want percentage C as it is. In that case, you have to use Q scan. In that case, we have to use Q scan. Q scan, what it will do, you can see, right? Percentage C. It is not evaluating that macro variable value, it is giving percentage C as it is. Likewise, we have one more concept called sub-str. Sub-str, you see, right? This is how it works. So percentage let A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to percentage NRSTR of ampersand A, ampersand B. So here, C, your macro variable C is storing ampersand A space ampersand B. Out of that ampersand C comma 1 comma 2. 1 comma 2 means ampersand A. Whenever you are running this, it will evaluate that macro variable ampersand A. It will display the value as 1. Is it right? 1. If you don't want to evaluate this, you want ampersand A as it is. then you have to write percentage Q sub str. So scan Q scan sub str Q sub str. If you see, right, ampersand A. Is that clear to everyone? Yes or no? Is that clear everyone? Yes or no? So below is a program which is not for your practice. So it is just for a reference. Whenever you wanted to calculate dates, if you want dates to be presented in different styles, different formats, okay, you can do that. This is one program consolidated for all types of date values. You see, right? This is all one program only. Okay, so this is all one program only. If you see here, it will give system date. So it's throwing an error, but still, this is how it is. Okay, so you can see there are some dates here. So all these dates are calculated. So there are some corrections here. So you can ignore this. This is not at all required. So it will give just some date calculations are there. In this, there are some corrections. Somebody has corrupted this file, but that's okay. No problem. And multiple ampersands. This is an interview question. I want everyone to focus here. This is a last concept for you. Percentage let A is equal to B. Percentage let B is equal to C. Percentage let C is equal to A. Whenever you write percentage ampersand A, so what value you get? Ampersand A means what is the value stored in variable A?
B.
B. Whenever you are writing 2 times ampersand, this is one interview question asked by one of the interviewer. Whenever you write 2 ampersands A, 2 ampersands A, the value is right, it will evaluate these 2 ampersands to 1 ampersand and ampersand A. So what happens? It becomes ampersand A. Ampersand A is nothing but B. And whenever you are evaluating this, so is it right? So whenever you are evaluating this, this is C. So first two, whenever you have 2, 2, 2, 2, you have to break 2. First 2 ampersands is 1 ampersand. Ampersand A is nothing but B. So you will get the value C. Ampersand B is nothing but C. You got the C. How is C? You understood, right? How you got the C? You understood, right? So again, if I write 4 times ampersand A, what happens? You see, right? It will break into 2, 2. So 2 ampersands is 1 ampersand. Again 2 ampersands is 1 ampersand A. Again it will break into 2 ampersand. 2 ampersands as 1 ampersand. Ampersand A is nothing but B. So if you see, right, whenever you're writing 4 times ampersand, it is B. So if you write 4 times ampersand, it is B. Whenever you're writing this 5 times ampersand, you see, right? So 2 ampersands B. So first ampersand, second ampersand B. So 2 ampersands will become to 1 ampersand. Ampersand B is nothing but C. So is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? 5 ampersand A is C. Is this clear to everyone? Yes or no? How it is working? You understood? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Yes or no?
Yes,
Japtan
sir.
kinti.
Yes, sir.
They right. It is C. So last one. If you see last one, these 2 ampersands, 2 ampersands. I'm giving space, right? So first ampersand is this. First ampersand. Second ampersand. Third. Fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. After that ampersand A is B. Again, if you see 2 ampersands is 1 ampersand, again 2 ampersands is 1 ampersand B. Again it is 1 ampersand B, it is C. You see, right, last value it is C. If you run the program, It will be C. You got C, right? How we C, you understood, right? How you got the value C, you understood, right? Agree, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you want further more questions, you can use options symbol gen, see how it is working. Options symbol gen. You see, right, whenever I'm writing percentage, put double ampersand A. Double ampersand is resolving to 1 ampersand. Ampersand A is resolving to B. You see, right, this is how it is B. And whenever you are executing this 3 times ampersand, you see, right, it will clearly show double ampersand resolves to ampersand. Ampersand A resolves to B. This ampersand B is resolving to C. You see, right, C. So if I write symbol gen, it will clearly show two parts, and it will show how it is executing. So this is how we use this options. Is it clear to everyone, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right. So with this, today we are done with our concepts. Okay. Today we are done with our concepts. All your SAS part is finished. Anything pending? Anything pending for us? Anything is pending for us? No, right? We have covered all these points, right? All these procedures we covered, right? Arrays, do loops, arrays చెప్పుకున్నామా? Arrays చెప్పుకోలేదు కదా? We didn't cover
No.
arrays, right?
Yes, sir.
Arrays మీకు అవసరం లేదు. ఇది అవసరం లేదు మీకు ఎలాగో. Okay, arrays is not required. It's not mandatory. Actually speaking, it's not mandatory. అలాగే మీరు మీ చదువులు అంతంత మాత్రమే కాదు, ఊరికే టైం వేస్ట్ ఎందుకు? Arrays is not required. Tomorrow we can start working on project. Tomorrow I'll give a case study. Okay, tomorrow I'll give a case study. Do loops we covered, right? Iterative
Yes,
do
sir.
loops, conditional do loops we have covered, right? Macros we covered, append,
Yes, sir.
everything we covered. Everything we covered. Only the leftover SQL we covered. Only the leftover is this arrays. So arrays, this is not required. Actually speaking, not required. Okay, but if you want me to tell, I can tell. Is this so? Do you guys want arrays? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Huh? You want arrays? Yes or no? From my side, I'll cover arrays, but not now. Going forward, I'll cover. Okay, right. So tomorrow we will start project. I'll let you know about the timings. Okay, bye guys. That's all for today. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir.